Doop dee ba dee 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 doop ba doo. All right, welcome to the Smeggy Cave. How's it going, everybody? Out there in Radio Land and in here in the chat. Jubes and Night Striker in here. Other people out in the world, let me know if you want a link. I can send it to you through gun channels. The chat at the bottom works. Anyways, we were talking a little bit ago off air about kind of just strategies of arguing and whatnot. And one of the things that was brought up is kind of this straw man argument of just saying, oh, the anti-gunners, they're just scared of guns. Like, why are they so scared? And I personally think that ends up, it's like I said, it's just a straw man argument, and like mocking them for it isn't really gonna advance the cause any. And it's a good idea. Anyways, what was I saying? I don't know. We had a good conversation earlier, guys. What were we talking about?
No wonder I can't say anything. My mic doesn't work.
Instead of challenging individual points, challenge the logic behind it or the fallacy and the logic behind it all. So, I guess the other thing was in using an example of a mistaken nomenclature or jargon to illustrate their lack of knowledge instead of being specific to the flub or the misspeaking, whatever the issue is. Instead saying, oh, you're obviously not real familiar with the subject matter. Are you challenging them on their ability to have an actual conversation based on their inability to understand what we're actually talking about.
Right. No, that's a good point. When it, if they call it a clip or they call it a this, that, or whatever, just being like, oh, it's not called that. It's a magazine, dummy. Again, it does not progress the conversation.
Yeah, like it would be like saying, you want to talk to me about drunk driving, and now you just asked me, like, is the wine keg installed in your convertible? Like, it's just a weird set of words that are on the subject, but they don't make any sense to what we're actually talking about. So that leads me to believe you're just spouting off, you're regurgitating facts that were handed to you. Do you know anything about this subject? And maybe just challenging. And then if somebody's listening, because that's who we're actually talking to, is that person, the people listening, the next conversation we're going to have. We're honing our skills every time we have a conversation, right? So if that is that decredit? What the fuck is the word? Discredits the other person because you can call them out. Not again like, oh, you said AR-47, like I win. Instead say, oh, well, you don't even, that was an inaccurate thing. Do you know what we're talking about here? Same way, again, if someone said, oh, did you put the wine keg in the convertible? You'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? A wine keg? And what are you talking about putting it in a convertible? Like, none of that adds up. That doesn't relate to what we're talking about here. Are you coherent? You know what we're talking about? Are we allowed to not challenge them on that?
Right. No, I think that is the way to do it, is, basically, because that's basically when we do our, even if it's just being snarky or whatever, but, chuckling at them saying a clip or whatever. The idea behind it is you obviously don't know a lot about the subject or about even like the full semi thing. Like, you don't understand how guns work, but you're trying to support an opinion or support a bill that regulates how they work. And I've used the example before. It's like someone who knows nothing about cars writing the rules for NASCAR. And if someone says, well, I think the carburetor thingy makes it go too fast, so we should get rid of those.
I don't like that example for lots of reasons. Number one, the people who are anti-gun don't give a shit about NASCAR. I don't even give a shit about NASCAR. It's too small a population. And NASCAR people that are into NASCAR are pro-gun, right? So I don't think that is getting something that's common ground. And then two, just in concept, it's a racetrack. So you're going to talk about, so that would be like saying blah, blah, blah about what the military should do. So the military is a separate section than us. I would use a car on the road because that's more sweeping and more like that's everyone you know who drives a car. That's like saying drunk drivers exist, therefore you need to change the way you drive, or you need to not have a car because drunk drivers exist. You know what I mean? Like saying NASCAR people shouldn't be able to drive because of one NASCAR wreck. They're going to go, I don't care. The hell NASCAR. Don't do NASCAR. Then you're right. It's violent. Don't do it. No.
Hmm. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I guess I was just, just trying to think of a way to relate it of just, someone who knows nothing about a specific topic and then making regulations about it.
What about gardening? So we take it away from anything dumb, and then they don't go, oh, you don't have a right to drive. We can just say gardening, like blah blah blah. People do bad things in their gardens. Do we tell people they can't garden, or do we trust the billions of people that garden? And when someone actually breaks a law, you follow up on it because gardens can't kill people. Yeah, that's why I always go back to driving. It's ironic, I think, or I find it highly ironic, and no one's doing memes about it, that they're talking about dropping the driving ages or something.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. At the same time, they're talking about raising the stupid rifle.
Right. So
500 rifle deaths, period, and that's justifiable and not. It's 500 in a year, in a fucking year, in a country of 360 million people. They're running around changing an argument, focusing on something like that instead of the lowest turnout ever for that whatever awards thing with a bunch of like molesters preaching at us about whatever, all those memes. So instead of focusing on anything like that, they're able to take 500 deaths and turn it into the scourge of the country. And then they're going to change. Man, talk about anyway, at the same time, yeah, then the news will talk about how the kids are able to drive or something at 18.
Yeah, so a 20-year-old is not smart enough to buy a rifle, or not capable enough or trusted enough to buy a rifle, but a 14-year-old is okay to get behind 2,000 pounds of steel.
Well, no, what it was is they were saying that the DMV changed the permit system. So 16-year-olds can take their permit test online now as many times as they want until they pass for $6.
Oh, really?
That's the fucking, it was something to that gist. And at the same time, they're like, and the Florida House is they're calling it what are they calling it? The whatever, the qualifier, like the highest count, what do they fucking say? The largest mass killing or something that then they qualify it with at a high school. So now they can call this thing the biggest thing ever at a high school. Anyhow, so they're one news article or one news story is about how this is the largest thing in Florida's House, or Florida's Senate passed that stupid 21 and over thing. And they're saying that like if it's an achievement, like the Senate in Florida passed this one thing, so things are moving our way. And then pause. Next story, 16-year-olds can get a permit. All they gotta do is pay like $6 and take it as many times as they want until they pass online. They don't have to go in anywhere now.
I wonder how you even prove that person took the test. Like I know that's a big thing with like online college or whatever. Like you can have anyone just
hit the
button on your computer.
Maybe they should say you can drive when you're 16, but like just a motorcycle, but you can't hurt anybody else, just yourself. Wouldn't that be equivalent? Like, oh, you're trustworthy, but not with big dangerous things.
Yeah, that's interesting about the driving thing. Unfortunately, we've heard all the arguments before, and that's, I do bring up cars a lot as kind of an analog, although it's not perfect, but it's like if you're trying to demonstrate just like a single point, then it's close enough on that single point to work. But then you always get the response of, yeah, but cars aren't designed to kill, they just happen to, or whatever. It's like they're not meant to, it's just all accidents. And it's like, yeah, so what? It has nothing to do with the point I was making. That one always bugs me. Oh, we got some more reloading.
It almost sounds like it's not going to happen, but it almost seems like he's going to talk and reload at the same time.
Almost. But that would be like getting twice the product for what you paid to see. And we don't do that.
Can you imagine the amount of moisture?
Oh my God. It's like getting in from everywhere. It's from my coffee cup. It's going into the powder.
Like, I can't believe you're holding it that close. And then just move moisture over. Oh my goodness.
I can't believe he's only wearing shorts.
You guys missed this chat.
I was wondering how long it would take somebody to comment on my sexy red shorts.
Oh, I didn't use those words.
No, he didn't.
Words matter, Dano.
What are you doing using my phrases on me?
Hey, first off, I've used that phrase quite a bit as well because I completely agree with you. And that's sometimes where slippery slopes can come in. For example, the Ohio assault weapons ban, where they say magazines capable of holding 10 rounds or more. It's like, well, wait a minute. That's the same way. That's the same thing as saying more than 9 rounds. But they say 10 or more because it sounds like, oh, 10-round mags are okay. Well, that's just like California. That's not that much of an infringement. It's a way of making it sound more palatable. And all the other ones are more than 10, which basically means 10's fine, 11's no good. Ohio worded it 10 or more. And
I agree with my strike. A reasonable amount of infringements are okay.
Fuck you. Shut up, be infringed.
Yikes. No, I mean, I never said they were okay. I'm just, whatever. I'm just saying the lawmakers chose their words carefully, knowing what the average, whatever, kind of gun guy would think.
Like, as an example, where does the +1 fit into the mathematics of their thinking? Like 10 + 1 is okay, or just 10 in an empty chamber?
No, 9. Smeggy just got done saying 10 is too many.
Right. Yeah, they don't care about the +1. It's just if the magazine holds more than 9. I wonder if there's a way, this would be kind of cool, set up a gun that has like multiple little steps or something so that, like you could put the mag in and then like rack the slide 3 times and it takes like 3 bullets out of it and then you can top it back off. Like there's like an on deck and a staging area and then the chamber. Because it's like, well, the magazine isn't holding it. The gun's holding half of them. The mag's holding the rest. Then they'd get all pissed off about that. And then it'd be like, you can't have any guns with an on-deck circle.
Or it goes back to, they won't be happy until the number is 0. That's the number they want.
Right.
And as long as we keep that in mind, at least we're clear about what they're actually going for. And we're not deluding ourselves that, oh, if we let them have 10, they'll give us some peace for a while.
Right, they'll leave us alone.
It can happen.
You know how you get peace for a while?
How's that?
You fucking raise a stink and make it uncomfortable for them to even brought this stuff up in the first place.
Right. Especially, for the politicians. I mean, the outspoken anti-gun people will still, be outspoken. But if it's like, if the politicians don't even want to touch the subject with a 10-foot pole because they know they're going to lose a bunch of voters, then they won't even advance the bill or anything. They won't even introduce it. Bloomberg calls them up like, hey, I got this bill I want you to introduce. They'd be like, nope, no thanks. Leave me alone. I'm gonna increase spending or cut taxes or you know, get a program for giving out puppies. Like I'm gonna do something that people like. I'm gonna go mess with the healthcare people for a little bit. I'm not gonna mess with guns for a while. So I completely agree, which is why I wrote my people the other day. Just a general letter, just saying, hey, just reminding you that guns are cool and you shouldn't vote against them, or I'll vote against you. That type of thing. Even the anti-gun senator, I wrote her anyways. Don't know if it'll change her mind, but if she gets enough of them, she might at least be like, hey, can we put this one on the back burner for a little bit?
Well,
is Dano still in here?
No, he's left the building.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
700 milliliters of moisture is exhaled out of a human body. 700 milliliters, and you're like less than a foot away from that powder.
Wait, let me take the top off. They're hermetically sealed top. Good thing I don't do chewing tobacco. I might mistake this for, you know,
a spittoon.
A spittoon.
You might as well just pour 700 milliliters of water in there. Wait, I see it.
Well, did you see how much, you know, you're in too? Like, don't take a bathroom break, apparently.
No, you guys missed it. Clay was in here telling him that the moisture that he's losing, or that he's going to get in his powder, is a big deal. And he was like giving him all kinds of shit about that. But then he was also giving him shit because he was weighing his powder. I'm like, what are you doing weighing? You have to weigh it once ever.
Well, I mean, he was giving me, and I'm not sure if he was just looking for a fight or what he was looking for.
He's
but
just a fucking dumbass troll. That's why I ignore him.
Yeah, and as an example, like right now, you see just a portion of what I have out here, and he was giving me shit about how I wasn't prepared because I didn't have any prime brass. Well, just as an example, right below here, I have a 50 cal can full of prime brass, and I have another can just like it full of another 2,000 rounds of prime brass.
That's not enough.
You shouldn't do that. What if like the brass rolls around and hits the primer, and it sets off a chain reaction? And
you know, it's not like I don't have any powder handy. But yeah, it was the first. This is a new to me powder dispenser, and I was trying to get it set up for the very first time. So there was a lot of dinking around with it. Yeah, once you get it set up, it's fairly straightforward.
Yeah, and then you just double check every once in a while to make sure it's not getting clogged up or whatever.
But I was getting a bit of variance that I wasn't quite satisfied with, so I was going back and forth, and that just really upset him. That, you know, he wanted to be entertained. It was like, you know, I'm not here for the entertainment.
Got a comment on YouTube saying in time it would love to learn how to reload. It's not that challenging. I mean, you have to be careful, as that's always, everyone always gives it that caveat. Like, you got to pay attention to what you're doing, but the actual reloading, it's not that difficult. Resize the brass, pop out the old primer, put the new primer in, drop some powder in it, put the bullet in there, seat the bullet and crimp it, you're done. Like, there's really not that many steps to mess up. Just a matter of setting the dies just right so that, you know, you got to ease up on it. Like, if you're trying to get the overall length, you know, you screw the die in, you run it, you measure the thing, not quite enough. You do it like another half turn in, you crank it up again, it pushes the bullet down a little bit more, measure it again. Okay, now it's good. You know, then you tighten down the lock ring, and then it's going to be that every single time. And there is like a window you're aiming for. So as long as you aim for the middle, if it's a little more, a little less, it doesn't hurt you that bad. I guess it just depends on how accurate you really want to get. There's a lot of people that reload for rifles like just for accuracy, and then they're a lot more meticulous about every little thing. Because it's all about consistency. I mean, it's not necessarily one type is more accurate than the other. It's just when one bullet has a little more powder or a little less, or the seat depth is a little more or a little less, the bullet's gonna behave differently. That's why you have like match ammo versus just like plinking ammo. The match ammo, they do a little bit more to make sure every bullet in that box is like the same. So that way when you dial it in, you know you're going to get the same thing each time. But if I figured out how to do it, it can't be that hard.
Well, this is also, at least for you in your lifetime, the second time around that you've had interaction with reloading. So,
well, that's true. Yeah, I did. I got taught on a single stage. So doing, setting up the dies each time and then switching over to the next thing, and the next step. So that's where I got familiar with the process of, basically what you have to do. But that's, I don't know, it's just repetition. Biggest thing is dial it in and then just make sure you keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Because it's really exciting once you get it all set.
Yeah, then you're just cranking a handle. Especially if you have a setup like Foos has where it like auto feeds the projectiles and auto feeds the cases and the primer tubes all set up there, that he's literally just cranking the handle and filling up the hopper on top of his press.
Yeah.
But he's also in like, super production mode. I forget which press he has, but it's one of like the really fancy ones.
Yeah, it's one of the more automated progressives. I mean, I forget if he's got a motor on part of his or not.
I don't think he does. I think he does still. He cranks the handle each time. But and he has a thing there that it's like a check. Basically, it's a powder check. So it's a little plunger that drops down, and when the thing lifts up, the powder pushes against the little paddle and pushes it up like a certain height, and you set that to where you want. And if it ends up like if you double charged it, then it's going to push the plunger way too high, and it won't allow the press to advance to the next step. Or if like for some reason the case didn't get any powder, then that plunger will be too low, and it also will not let the thing progress. I don't know why you're asking me what round he's reloading. You could ask Dana what round he's reloading. I'm guessing 9mm.
That would be correct. 115 grain roundos, full metal jacket. Why 115? Because I'm a cheap ass.
Yeah, it's very common. If there's such thing as a standard weight, I would say 115 is the standard for 9mm. All right, we'll go back over to direct messaging.
Oh, he's already gone. I was just thinking about asking him how how it was going on the getting gun channels up and running. I mean, I can see from the outside, but I can't tell from that. Just tells me what's up and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't tell me how close it might be.
Back to the hockey game.
An actual hockey game or a video hockey game?
An actual game. I recorded it the other night. I haven't watched it yet. So I just got it on mute on my TV.
Do you know the outcome?
I do not. That's why I'm watching the game.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Bob, curling actually is very exciting to watch.
Oh, please.
I like watching curling, dude. I always have.
You know, that's the effect is you're too damn close to the border.
Well, yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, we didn't have cable. We just had like over-the-air TV, and we could get Channel 9, which is CBC.
We had a leftover tennis ball from last year and a couple of brooms. So we went up and down the driveway. That's how poor we were.
I would love to do curling.
I was a poor white child.
Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit.
Good song, bad voice.
Took the midnight train, banning Dano.
Well, Clay would love you.
A singer in the Smeggies Cave. Something, something, blah, 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 blah. Took the midnight train going anywhere.
You lost me.
Street lights, people, hit or miss Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock.
I'm surprised you didn't get your pre-show
somewhere in the night.
And we just lost viewers.
I don't care.
That's assuming we had any.
Well, I was being hopeful.
Thanks to Live Move. Took the midnight TM train.
I wouldn't take that train if I was the last train on Earth.
Headed to the restaurant. Some will win, some will lose.
Some were born to sing the blues.
Oh, that's good.
Some people sing better when they're drinking booze.
No, you don't sing better. You just don't hear yourself.
You just think you do.
You just don't hear yourself, and everybody else is drunk too, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, that happens a lot at karaoke. I'm always, talking to new people, and one of the things after I've been talking for a little bit, I'll just be like, "So, what song are you guys singing?" And that's a pretty common answer. Is like, "Oh, maybe if I have another couple drinks, I might." And it's like, you do realize that you're having those drinks because you think you need like courage because you're afraid you suck. The problem is when you have all those drinks, you end up sucking. Like,
well, the problem is if you already know you suck, then it doesn't matter one way or the other.
They just want to deaden the part of themselves that is aware that they suck, and that's why they need to drink.
Yeah.
So that they're less self-aware of their suckiness.
Indeed.
And I include myself in that group too.
Same here.
I could not stand up there and sing sober. Why would I do such a stupid thing?
Because it's fun.
Now, of course it's fun, but that's why I got to get over my defenses. And that's what the alcohol's for.
Smeggy just doesn't understand because, you know, he's perfect.
Oh, you go up there sober and just start winging it out?
Yeah.
And by sober, I mean not even a single drink.
There have been times that I've basically walked in and got called up before I drank a beer.
Well, getting called up is different than you saying, let me have that mic, damn it. Nobody's singing.
Oh, well, no. I mean, it's just because I know the guy who runs the karaoke. So he sees me walk in, he puts my name on the list.
Yeah.
So depending on if it's busy or not is like how soon I get in. But yeah, I'm just basically saying there have been weeks when I start singing right away because there's not many people on the list. And there's other times where, yeah, I mean, I've maybe had a beer by the time I go up for the first time to sing. Nowhere near drunk, you know. I only ever have.
Shots are for.
Oh,
You might have had one.
I don't do shots when I go out. It's not worth it.
I don't do shots because my stomach can't handle that sudden rush of alcohol. It burns the hell out of my stomach.
I can do shots. I just, you know, it's kind of too hard to keep track if you're trying to like drive home later. If you've had a couple shots, you know, you seem like you think you're not as bad as you really are or something. I just don't want to risk it.
If you're mixing a couple of shots with, you know, questionable number of beers, then it becomes a very cloudy, how sober or drunk am I?
Right. Especially if you do some right near the end, because it's like you could get going and then you end up like being worse by the time you get in the car.
Yeah, 10 minutes later, you're going down the road and it's kicking in.
Right. So I just don't mess with that stuff because I'm a responsible human being. Yeah, come on, dude. Get him.
Get him.
Benny and the Jets. I'm not taking requests until I get super chat.
There you go. That's
to get that. I need whatever, like 1,000 people or something. So hurry up and tell all your friends about me and subscribe.
Well, what do you guys have on hit or miss? How many? What's your number? Current number? Or how far away from the current number do you need?
Right now I've got, what is it? 694.
Okay, so about a little over 300 to go.
Yeah, a little over.
And then you'll be taking end of show requests for a minimum of what, $5? Because you don't want to put $1 in there and getting a song out of you.
No, it's got to be a minimum of like 10.
Yeah, I mean, you're not a human jukebox.
Yet. We're working on getting that legalized.
What the hell? Since when did I start getting prostituted out?
Since you seem to be doing it for free anyway.
No, I'm singing what I want to sing for free. If you want me to sing what you want me to sing, that's going to cost you.
Well, that's why, you and Night Strike will have a private conversation of the cut between him and you. And
right. We'll
Tuesday nights, come the end of the show, Smeggy will sing. You'll each get a piece of the action.
As Smeggy's manager, I'll get 60%. He'll get 40%.
What? Since when are you my manager? What the fuck's going on here?
So much. It sounds like hit or miss is breaking up. The band.
Nah.
We got to get the band back together.
We're on a mission from God.
I have not seen that movie in decades.
Well, you're not missing much.
Oh, that's a
Well, I
good
saw
movie.
it, a number of times. Obviously when the movie came out, the first couple of years it was available on, VHS tape. Yes, I said VHS tape.
Hey, Dano,
Yes.
I have a VHS tape player behind me. I know what a VHS player is.
Well, I know you guys know, but
People like Flippy's age are like, what's a VHS tape? They've never heard of that old fangled technology.
You know what I've always wondered? I was actually talking about this the other day. So, you know those people that are like kind of like hipster, like about like records? They're
Yep.
like, oh man, it's like so analog. It's like purest form.
yeah.
How come those same people aren't like, oh, dude, I got this 8 millimeter film. It's like it's so, authentic. No, they're watching freaking Blu-rays, super high def shit. Like, how come they can admit that, oh yeah, video technology has advanced and like newer movies look better, but they can't seem to admit that like newer sound technology sounds better?
For the same reason they wear sweaters and toboggans in 70-degree weather.
How do you wear a toboggan?
I don't know.
Strap it on your back?
What I kind of smile at is when I see, and this comment is directed towards men who have these lumberjack beards and these millennial haircuts. Very stylish. Obviously, they didn't get it at a barber, and their beard is like manicured as well. And they wear like a flannel shirt, like I'm wearing, except they're putting on the I'm a lumberjack image. Yet clearly, everything about them says I'm all about the style. I'm doing the lumberjack style. I'm certainly not an outdoorsy guy. I wouldn't know what an axe is. In fact, I run away from axes because they're sharp, they can hurt. So there.
I don't know, whatever. I mean, people like different styles.
Something like that.
It's like I guess because it reminds me of somebody pretending to be something they're not. I mean, it'd be like somebody coming on gun channels protecting they're all that in a bag of chips, tactical operator from the space shuttle, and they're just a regular dude. I mean, like, don't pretend to be something you're not, and people will accept you. But when you add some level of fakery to it, not everyone is going to necessarily accept you for who you are. I missed the bucket. Damn it. I just dropped it again.
That one just wants to live free.
Yeah. That's a loaded round. That could get some innocent person.
Oh shit! Owen Benjamin shooting a Russian SKS on
Wanted to
his
get it
Instagram
in the
page.
wild. It's like catching a fish that jumped out of the bucket. Right behind me is a heat register, and every time the furnace kicks on, I get hot. And then, like 15 minutes after it kicks off, then I start feeling normal again. It's like I can't dress for the weather of the inside of my place.
That is indeed a problem.
You could choke down the register so it's not blowing directly on you.
Sure.
Well, it's not blowing directly on me. It's just that it's 4 feet behind me. But I should close that thing down. Y'all get to see my shorts again. Woohoo!
Jesus Christ. Yep. Guns are fun. I like them.
What the hell did I do? I put the bullets in. That's helpful. Let's still check it.
Yeah, I've heard having bullets is helpful when you're reloading.
It doesn't make any sense, but it seems to be. I would think just a big blast of hot air would take care of the evildoer.
And then there were two.
So, Smeggy, is it snowing over by you?
No.
It stopped now by me, but it was snowing since most of last night. But the temperature was like right on the edge of freezing and not freezing. So,
Oh man, that's the real wet snow. A lot of moisture in that.
yeah, very heavy. A lot of moisture. It's like everywhere. It's like getting on stuff.
That is good snowman snow, though.
Oh, yes. You want it a little bit wet for that big ball.
Yep, that's what I find. It gets a little bit wet for the big ball.
Oh, we lost Night Strike. He snuck on out of here. I guess I wasn't entertaining enough.
Nope, guess not.
Started with 4, and then one by one, as after Dano joins, they just start disappearing, dropping out. Fine. So, Smeg, what caliber or calibers have you used your new press with?
I just have dies for 9mm.
Oh, okay.
Eventually, I'll probably get, 5.56. And at some point, I might get 30-06. And that would just be for pure playing around with it, trying to, it's like I was talking earlier, trying to get like super accurate. Like, you make 5 of one thing, and then you add a couple more grains, and well, not a couple, like a couple point whatever's more grains.
100 here,
a little bit
100
more,
there.
a little bit more, and then shoot those, see which one has the best group, and then go from there, tweak it a little bit more.
Well, the one good thing is the furnace finally shut off. That should help for a few minutes.
Yeah, now you're gonna get cold though.
I don't know if I get hot again. I'm just going to shut the furnace off till I'm done reloading for today.
Well, at least if with the furnace going, you'll have nice dry air in there.
Yeah, reducing any possible evil humidity that might get in the sacred powder.
Yes. However, really dry air, you end up having more static.
Ah!
So then you
Sparks,
have a risk.
the evil sparks.
Yep.
Bzz, boom.
That's why paint shops have a specific range of humidity. You don't want it too humid, but you don't want it completely dry.
Yep. I worked for a little over a year in a place we did web-fed coating, adhesive coating, and we had a humidity controlled environment. And with the exception of the summer, the sprayers up in the roof were almost constantly running. It's just how much were they running?
Right, yeah, they normally have like a control valve that opens up either like a little bit or a lot.
Right. Did I ever tell you my Halon story? It's not a very long or good story, but I guess it's a story or experience. Maybe is a better way to put it.
I don't believe so.
At this same factory, because we were using adhesives, solvent-based adhesives, fires was not an uncommon thing. Let's just say. And the fire would start, and of course, it would roll through the entire machine. And these are very long machines because it's whether it's think of a newspaper machine, that's referred to as a web in manufacturing. Whether you're using sheets or just a giant long roll of material that you then chop up into pieces later on in the process. Well, you would coat the adhesive on one end of the machine, of course, and then whether it be a static spark or whatever would light the solvent gases on fire, and then that would spread on the material that had been coated, which is, of course, the entire length of this thing. This machine is over 100 feet long, so it's not like it's a little short machine. So we'd have these 100-foot length fires going on that were like, 6 feet wide and 100 feet long. And one of the times, it flipped on the halon extinguishers, and since I was the supervisor on the shift that it happened, I was in there making sure that people were not coming in the department, that only the fire designated people were in there dealing with the fire. And then I experienced for myself how halon works on a human being. And let me tell you, it was like some giant was choking me at the throat and pinning me to the wall as far as like the denial of oxygen to breathe.
Well, yeah, because it just sucks the oxygen right out of the air, right?
Yep. It actually combines with oxygen to create a compound that the human body and fire cannot use. So you're breathing, but you're not getting any oxygen. So gas is going in your lungs, gas is going out, but not in a form your body can absorb.
That sounds really dangerous.
Only for the humans. It's good for the fire. It put out that fire lickety split.
Yeah, but if you're in there, that's not so good.
Well, I was also designated to be the last person out because, again, being the supervisor, so I had to go into any little crevices of our department to make sure there was nobody behind cabinets or whatever before I would exit that part of the building myself. And I mean, it's different, but I guess it's in some ways that does have one similarity with what I'll call a first responder in regards to if you don't want to take that part of your job seriously, then you shouldn't accept the money for it. You shouldn't do it. So I did not have a problem being the last one out and verifying the safety of my crew because that was part of my job. That's what I was getting paid for.
Man, I'm kicking ass on my game.
But you were watching the TV from the game from the other night.
Oh no, that's Yeah, I'm watching the hockey game. I'm just saying I'm playing this game on my phone, and I'm doing good.
Oh,
The hockey game's not so good. I'm fast forwarding to the third period right now, and it's 2-1 the bad guys. So we're down by 1.
now when you tape games, do you find it hard not to accidentally hear the results? Like when you get in the car, you turn on the radio or something like that.
Yeah, they get spoiled sometimes, but I have satellite radio, so I'm just listening to like the music channel or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But no, you're especially back before I had satellite radio, then yeah, that would happen. You know, you just turn on like a regular radio station. They're like, all right, the next song we're gonna play is blah 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 because the Red Wings won last night. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Thanks for spoiling it.
Yeah. You know, I heard a term about a month or so ago for what you and I would call normal radio, and they called it terrestrial radio or earthbound transmission tower radio.
Yeah,
Back in the
I've
day,
heard,
it was like how many thousands of watts you were pumping out into the atmosphere as far as the audience you could geographically grab.
yeah, I've heard it called terrestrial radio before.
And that may just be that, you know, I'm not in the groove on the new slang.
I do like satellite radio though.
Now, is that also commercial free?
Yeah. I mean, they actually there will be some commercials for like the other stations or something. Like, hey, check out station 37 for an interview with so and so or whatever. So it's not like 100% music, but it's like 95% music.
Right.
Like they do still have DJs and stuff, but there's not commercials for hey, you should buy a Ford or something. It's like none of that crap.
Right. What is that? Berries? Ah.
God damn it, I have Journey stuck in my head now.
Don't stop believing.
Hold on to the feeling. Hit or miss. Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock.
Gotta love that soprano.
Some will hit, some will miss.
Some will never be on the show.
Some will make you want to kiss
Yikes.
Smeggy, because he is so sexy.
Well, I think we're kind of pushing the envelope on that one.
Hey man, don't stop believing. I have faith.
Ah.
All right, we're on a power play.
Oh, shit, I gotta reset my bullets. Where's my knife? Where's my knife? Well, here it is.
What? Why do you need your knife for reloading?
To open the box, because I finished a box of bullets, so I need to open up another box of bullets.
Okay, that makes sense.
There we go.
God damn it! What a wasteful power play. Get a freaking shot on net at least.
I'm gonna need to do something else with these. Let's see, where can I put these? It won't be a problem.
Oh gosh darn it. Ooh, that sounds like candy.
It's lead candy. Copper-coated lead candy. Coming to you at 1,000 feet per second, ish. Speaking of 1,000 feet per second, ish. Did you chronograph any of your loads? Just so you knew what you were doing or getting?
No, I don't have a chronograph. I'm not too worried about it. I aimed for like the middle range, and they cycled the gun, so good enough for me.
Right. For what I call it, target or range, not target, but let's say, range ammo sort of level stuff, that's perfectly fine. There's really no need to do that. And I certainly didn't have to do mine. I just, I've always wanted a chronograph to see what the off the shelf stuff I was buying was actually getting me performance wise, just because I was curious. So I purchased one off of G-Webs a little while back, complete with a 223 or 556 hole in it. That still works. And forgot where I was going. And so I do like to use it just to verify that performance wise I'm getting what I'm supposed to, a roundabout ways what I should be getting for how I'm loading it. It's also a way to quickly check the not the coefficient, the consistency of the loads from one bullet to another bullet to another bullet, and then draw a average between them. to see how much variance there is. And then at least I know what my system and my abilities are capable of doing. Sometimes it's the system, sometimes it's me.
Yeah, you're right. That is a good way of just double checking yourself. Consistency is key. That's the whole point.
I did a very boring video about 6 months ago or so on 10 different brands of 9mm 115 grain ammo. And I forget if I did 5 or 10 rounds or what I did. I know it wasn't 10, it was less than that. But it was the same number of rounds for each manufacturer, each brand, and did the mathematical analysis just using a spreadsheet to see if what you were paying for something, you were getting consistency for what you were paying. So some of the stuff like 9mm you can get for like less than $10 for a box of 50. Other range stuff you might in other areas might be $15 for a different brand. Well, for almost twice the price, or at least 50% more than the price, excuse me, are you getting 50% better performance, either in consistency and or speed, if you consider speed a performance characteristic for what you're doing. Anyway, it's something that I've always wanted to do for myself, and I just happened to record what I was doing. Anyway. Yes, every great once in a while, I actually do a video. I realize that's impossible for most people to understand. What? He doesn't just sit here and bullshit all the time? Not all the time, but much of the time. I mean, he actually does stuff in the real world? I know, hard to imagine, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't buy it.
It's a bunch of bullshit. He doesn't carry, he don't even have a gun. And if he does, it just sits there and collects dust and rust. He doesn't go to those training classes that I just bitch about that are too goddamn expensive. He just bullshits us all. I did enjoy last year as far as what I call my summer of training. You know, I don't anticipate ever repeating that volume of training again, because it is quite expensive. It was just a matter of, you know, circumstances lend itself to where I was able to do it a couple of times. But that's not normal that I can. And it's no different than like just spending priorities in general. Like if somebody wants to go to a gun show, whether it be NRA, Wanamaker, or whatever, and they put out there, oh, I want to go, come throw me some money, but then they're buying new guns and saying that they can't afford to go. It's like, well, you can't afford to go because you made decisions for yourself as to what was most important.
Oh, man, that was close. We almost tied it up.
Close only matters in horseshoes and hand grenades.
That's true. And they're not interchangeable. Oh, man.
He sneaks in, he sneaks out. You never know where he's going to go.
Yep. That's how it works.
What's going on?
Daniel was just commenting that you came back, basically.
So how's progress at the channels? Frustrating? Going okay?
I'm just waiting.
Waiting for that feeling.
Hey, man. Don't make me start singing again.
Well, he said it, and it's like that fits perfectly back into what we were discussing before. So I couldn't just let that moment slip by.
They missed some good.
Oh, we were just talking a while back about karaoke. And the band Journey and how somebody loves to sing belt off them Journey tunes.
See, I never said I sing Journey when I go to karaoke.
Yeah. Okay.
In fact, I'm pretty sure I've never sang Journey. I may have. That's why I say pretty sure. But I don't think I have.
Just for us and your listeners?
Yep. It's a Smeggy Cave special. Other than that, gee, you didn't really miss much. We were just blabbing on.
I went to the store to buy one thing, didn't buy that thing. Now I'm pissed.
Say that again?
Did you forget, or did they just not have it?
Oh no, I just totally forgot to buy it. I went to the store to buy mousetraps. I came all the way back. No mousetraps.
Did you forget, or they didn't have them?
No, I just
Well,
totally
I
forgot.
just asked them.
His answer was not clear.
I just forgot to walk over there and look for them.
Oh, okay.
99-cent store, so sometimes they don't have them. But I don't even know.
I think I've done something like that more than once.
I was all excited because 99-cent store lady is over at the 99-cent stores in Arizona. So I wanted to go use that mine.
Was she there?
So, G-Webs, have you started to notice a temperature shift at all in regards to spring or summer sneaking up on you?
Oh yeah, it's hot as shit today. It's probably like 80.
Oh my God.
Was
Now,
this
saying something like that, what's going to happen when it's to you when it's like 120? You're going to die. If 80 is that overwhelming.
Yeah, but we're coming out of like 60, so it seems like.
Well, I mean, us up here in the north, yeah, 80 seems ungodly hot.
Well, I'm saying after just barely narrowly surviving being frozen to death, this seems like.
Gotcha.
Is there anybody watching? Is there anybody watching this one?
We got 6 viewers. So I guess a couple.
I think includes 3 of us.
No, I have nothing else open except this one.
I don't blame them though. We kind of, I don't know, wandered away from talking about guns. But I'm not a topic machine. I don't know what to talk about.
Yeah, I have to go do something else, and then I'm just probably going to work on Minuteman University from now on.
Alrighty. You have a good afternoon.
What's the Minuteman anniversary about?
I mean, from this point, yeah, not like today.
I think I stepped on you. What's the topic again?
There's no topic. I didn't say today. I said it going forward. I don't see any money or interest in what I'm doing, so I'm going to just do what I want and go do something else for money, I guess.
There's a picture of a dude. He's wearing camouflage pants but a high reflective jacket. And the comments, "Bro, do you want to be seen or not?"
No. He's feeling indecisive.
Ew, goddamn, I hate when I'm scrolling through and I see some like injury pic or something. I don't want to see someone who cut their hand. Why do people have to post that crap?
Because they think they're the first ones to ever actually get that on film.
No, I'm sure it was like a link to some whatever, like
hunting pictures.
Like, I'm sure nobody's captured this before in the history of mankind.
Oh, I think it was a link to like know your first aid or something. But
what about hunting pictures?
I'm okay with hunting pictures, but I could see that there's probably other people that think the same thing about that.
I was scrolling through Instagram. You know how they recommend shit to you now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like out of nowhere, you can't do nothing about it. They recommended this chick, and the picture was her holding up a baby pig, I guess, out of the mama pig that she just killed, I'm assuming.
Oh,
so it's basically a big gut pile with her holding a baby pig smiling. I'm like, oh, that's interesting to be on Instagram. And it's not vulgar or nothing, I guess.
But it definitely strikes me as a little over the top. Maybe a little bit more than a little over the top.
Hmm. Pretty much over. Bummer.
What's over?
I'm watching the hockey game from the other night, but it was 2-1, and then they scored again, making it 3-1. So we pulled our goalie, and they got an empty net goal, so now it's 4-1. And there's like 2 minutes left or whatever. So
I just hear Chuck on teacher talk.
that's a bummer. I think there's another game tonight though, so that'll be cool. They could probably start around 7.
Crap.
I don't understand these pictures that are like people post a picture and they hold up a little piece of paper. It's like roast me, and then people say mean things about them. I don't get it. I don't get it why the person would do it, and I don't get why people would like seeing that. It's like you're just being mean.
So since I can't see what you're talking about, could you describe one of them to me? So what's an example of something somebody would hold up, a sign or something?
Well, that's just, I mean, there's a whole piece of paper that just says roast me. I guess it's like a Reddit thing or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Well, like this one, it's just like a picture of a dude, but like he's got a gap in his teeth, and someone commented, "Do you floss your teeth with a mattress?" And then someone was like, "Oh, that's savage." Like, I don't get it. Like, it wasn't even particularly clever. There are some other ones where people just call the person fat or whatever.
But it's the fact that there's not nice people out there is of no shock. The fact that there's people that actually want to be made fun of is what I don't get.
Yeah. I mean, roasting, I get it for like if, friends are doing to each other or whatever, like it can be kind of funny, but that's because like they pick certain, you know, they just pick certain topics that are like, oh, that's true, it's kind of funny. Like, haha, he is you know, like kind of selfish or something, like, or he's a cheapskate. Like, okay, it's kind of amusing. And you can do it in a funny way, but when it's just like other people are just like, you look stupid. It's like that's not funny. It's not creative. It's not, like I just don't get it. Well, whatever. Some people are weird, I guess.
Tuesday nights at 9.
I didn't say hit or miss.
You said the subtitle.
Okay.
Or one of the potential subtitles.
New Carnation Instant Breakfast. They start out good because New Carnation Instant Breakfast makes milk with as much protein as fresh eggs, as much mineral nourishment as 2 strips of
Wow,
bread,
we're that boring. You need to watch commercials, G-Webs?
plus vitamin C, the orange juice vitamin. That's the orange juice vitamin. There's like a show on Amazon that's just nothing but commercials from the olden days. Food commercials from the olden days.
Huh. Seems interesting. Now what's on TV?
I think they're suggesting that an entire family would sit around eating Carnation Instant Breakfast powder mixed in with milk as breakfast. Like they're just sitting around the table drinking this stuff as breakfast, knocking the glasses together like they're toasting.
Uh,
Well, back in the 70s, I do remember them advertising. I don't remember the name of the product. It may have been a carnation variation of for kids, or if dad's just too busy on the go, living that on the go lifestyle, to at least have, some sort of, it was like before Ensure, for the kids and dad to at least eat on the go. Moms, you worried about getting that nutrition in little Tommy? Well, have little Tommy and little Sarah drink this down before they head off to school to start the day right.
It's got as much minerals as 3 strips of bacon.
Yep.
What the fuck came up with that? Like, you know what people think about when they eat bacon? The minerals.
well, that's why I eat it.
I can get past the flavor and the texture and the everything else about bacon because it's about the minerals for me.
And so I used to, do something like that for breakfast. Like it was like a chocolate milk kind of thing, but it wasn't, it wasn't like sugary and stuff. It was actually like a breakfast thing.
Yeah, they originally came in vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate.
But I would do that so that it was when I was going to college. That way, like I'd have something to drink while I was driving to school, and I might grab like a banana or something too, like we had something to eat. But I would do that so then that way I could sleep an extra 10 minutes or whatever, like however long it takes to eat cereal.
All right, because when you're that age, you're literally, and I was that lazy. If I could get an extra 10 minutes sleep by doing something, I would do it. Because in my head, getting that extra 10 minutes made all the difference.
Oh, yeah.
This is disgusting. Oh. Is this going to copyright you?
I don't know. I hope not. Some old ass commercial? I don't think so. And at least if we comment on it, it should be fair use. So let's review this commercial you speak of. What are we talking about?
Talking about the industrialization of food.
No,
I'm trying to figure out what product he's talking about.
Oh, I have it muted. Hold on. Hold on.
What's more delicious than a fluffy golden omelet?
That's an omelet? The hell is that?
I don't know. It looks more delicious than a fluffy golden omelet. You know, a pile of gunk.
Look at this. They're like, let's put a can of spaghetti sauce on it. They're gonna do it too.
I believe that they'll do that.
Here she goes.
Now let's pour this smooth, tempting, different
Who the hell would eat that?
over our arms.
That's not an omelet.
Fold the omelet.
She said it was
It's
smooth.
breathing.
It's breathing.
He just said fold the omelet, and then this happened. Are you kidding me?
It's a pile of gunk, but it tastes better than a fluffy omelet.
And the new
That is the most gross omelet I've ever heard of. And who puts spaghetti sauce on an omelet?
Well, that's not an omelet, so it doesn't
Well-
matter.
I think we know it's Chef Boyardee that put it on.
Disgusting. People were gross back in the old days.
And that's the beginning of what's today's food.
Oh man, I bet you that thing was all like butter and sugar and salt, you know?
Oh yeah.
It looked like a cake. Like they poured a bunch of cake batter into a thing, or maybe mashed potatoes, and then they were calling it an omelet for some reason, like as a joke. And then they go, and now let's fold the omelet. And then it's like some whole other omelet laying there.
Right. It's like the before and after. You see them, you know, they put it in the oven, it's all fucked up, and they're like, this is the one I did earlier. And they pull it out, and it's like perfect and all frosted. And
Right.
they're like, nah, that's not how it works. Yeah, it did look like almost like they were frying something, like because there was a bunch of extra liquid wherever that like pile of stuff was. Everything else was all like runny, and then it comes out like a perfectly shaped omelet. And still, then you put spaghetti sauce on it. Ugh, what the hell's wrong with you? Of course, I know people that put like ketchup on their eggs. I think that's kind of gross. So maybe that's a similar theory. Like spaghetti sauce is kind of like ketchup, only more spaghetti-ish.
More spaghetti-ish.
I mean, it is tomato based.
Yeah, you know, you're right. I'm not doubting you at all. There is the original Chef. I can't believe it.
Look at this, though. Have you ever seen this before? I'm playing no sound, so they can't get you, right?
I hope not. Like I said,
So it's like
I'd
spaghetti,
fight it.
big deal, right? Big deal spaghetti. But look, there's a can of goop, and then a box of spaghettis, and another can of goop. I've never seen that before, like in one box.
Huh. That's
Imagine
pretty convenient.
a can of cheese, maybe, and then a can of goop, and then a can of spaghetti.
Yeah,
In a handy box. Oh yeah, cheese.
at least by the 60s, because that's got to be a 50s commercial. But as I remember, that the stuff was the sauces were always, you know, you bought your own noodles. They didn't come with the sauce.
Yeah, I've never seen it like packaged in a box like that. That's like an MRE.
Yeah, that's like a dinner ready to go.
That you could take camping or put it in the car or whatever, and then yeah, you have everything, including the cheese, a can of cheese. It's unheard of.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Here, have some Coca-Cola.
It's refreshing.
Mountain Dew is better.
It didn't exist.
Yahoo! Mountain Dew. That's what's funny. Mountain Dew was like the like redneck hillbilly kind of pop back in the day, and
Yeah.
now it's all like extreme Mountain Dew, and all the commercials are like skateboarders and shit.
Wonder what them hillbillies think about those city kids appropriating their soda.
I don't know, but it's the nectar of the gods, so they better share it with everyone.
Only gods are allowed to have it.
Well, no, it's the gift from them to mankind.
Not all mankind is worthy. I am not worthy. I am not worthy.
Listen, if you don't want to drink Mountain Dew, I'm not going to force you to. I just think you're missing out.
Hey, I love Mountain Dew because
Hi, Bunny.
I am worthy.
There's a bunny in my backyard. Hi, bunny. What you doing? Eating some grass? Nibbling away? He lives under my bush over by the wood pile. What's going on, Bunny? Just chilling? You gonna try out for Cadbury eggs?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I like wildlife.
On a stick.
I wouldn't eat this bunny. It's my friend.
If you were hungry, you would.
I guess if I had to. But I'd try not.
What is it?
I got a little superstition with this bunny here, so.
Like the scorpion and the frog? What are we watching, G-Webs? Another prime time of entertainment? And a Pepsi.
So what do you think this is an advert for at this point?
I'm saying Pepsi.
I'm going to say motorcycle. What the heck is going on?
What's it going to be that for?
Dude surfing in. Dude, that's how I want all my drinks on the beach to be delivered. Cold 45. Yes, sophisticated beer. Yeah. I can guarantee not a single person has ever drank a Colt 45 wearing a suit.
Everyone in the ghetto has seen that commercial. Hey, Jimmy. Hey, Susie. Look what I got.
A nice, refreshing beer.
Colt 45 from my daddy.
I stole it when he passed out on the beach after chasing that lady on a motorcycle. That is a weird thing to have on Amazon. They're just going to show a bunch of old commercials, like nostalgia time.
Yeah.
I'm sure the companies that still exist are loving it. They're like, oh, you want to like use our commercials and say it's a TV show?
I like this kind of bread. I like eating this kind of bread. I like eating this kind of roll. Look at this.
Oh, bacon.
Oh, now we're talking.
What'd you say?
All you hear is the meat sizzling and some background noise from a picnic.
I saw bacon. Ah, bacon, cheese. And it's in a fresh tomato.
That bacon's all raw and gross.
Put them on anything but County Fair Roll.
Oh, it's a commercial for the buns.
Yeah.
Hamburger rolls.
Okay, who puts a little like olive or whatever on their hot dog and puts a toothpick through it? Come on.
No, you stole my magic right there, mister.
If you're trying to kill whoever's eating it.
Oh, that looks so delicious. Chocolate on chocolate cake.
Yeah, I bet you that came right out of that box.
And the frosting comes out of a can and it's all made out of lard. I remember my mother, when I was a kid, told me that if you eat a can of that frosting, you will get worms. So that's how she kept us kids out of eating the can of frosting that was in the pantry.
So many worms.
So when I was an older teen, I actually stopped home from school, bought a can of frosting, and ate it. After I got about halfway through, I was sick and tired of it.
Yeah, too much of a good thing can be
Yeah.
not good.
Here's football bread. Eat this bread, football.
Yep. You will grow strong. For the young, growing youth of today.
You're gonna serve your coffee? You don't like my coffee. Your coffee sucks like a horse's butt. Have you ever seen the Kentucky Fried Movie?
When she looks at the other woman, she looks down.
Have you ever seen the Kentucky Fried Movie?
Yes. That was so long ago, I have a hard time remembering it, but I do remember seeing it.
Maggie, seen that movie? Did you leave? You got copyrighted.
Well, if you didn't, we're damn well going to do it now.
It's 38 seconds. You think you'll get copyrighted?
I remember the day the girls came over for bridge club. I was so embarrassed because of lingering odors. The dinner last night? Phew, aren't they still smoking the cigars? Christ, did a cow shit in here?
What? Lingering odors.
That's not an American commercial.
That's the Kentucky Fried Movie. You've never seen that movie? That movie.
Well, I like I said, I've seen it once, years and years ago. Smells like shit in here.
It's just funny because they're like halfway proper, and then it's like, did a cow shit in here? What the fuck?
Yeah.
God damn it, Margaret. This isn't posh at all.
The girls are going to slap you down like bitches.
When's Tactical Tuesday start?
Does it eat them?
Well, I like his.
Listen to this one.
On the drone for better flavor.
Harvey, want anything special for your birthday?
Just a decent cup of coffee.
Bitch.
God damn it. Ethel, don't burn it again.
7 Central.
This is
That's
great. Oh, man. Hold on.
You're kidding.
I'm serious, honey. Your coffee's undrinkable.
Pretty harsh.
Well, so's your coffee.
That's a commercial.
Well, yeah, 'cause it gets everyone watching it going like, oh, geez, I hope my husband doesn't talk to me like that. Honey, your coffee's awful. Anyways, Ghost Tactical.
Oh, snap.
Let's make better coffee on their hot plate. Anyway.
And he didn't even kiss me goodbye. You know, if
Oh, man. Anyways.
The trials and tribulations of the suburban
The
housewife.
best part is they're like, oh, you can make a terrific cup of coffee. Use this instant.
I mean, that was everything short of him like slapping her around because of it.
Yeah.
Like in the second scene, she should have had a black eye. It's like he didn't even kiss me goodbye. And she just has a black eye that no one says anything about.
I walked into a door.
Well, no, they back then they wouldn't even. They'd be like, "Yep, yeah, she deserved it. She made crappy coffee."
Yeah. Helen, she makes shitty coffee.
What, a cow shit in it?
Well, and it's also they had those old names like that you don't hear too much of nowadays.
Ready for this one? This is the end of that same commercial.
Hey, great coffee.
It's instant Folgers. Doesn't it taste good as fresh perk?
Better.
Better than those girls make at the office.
Honey, their coffee can't hold a candle to yours.
She's like, now will you quit sleeping around at the office because of the coffee?
No, nobody does head like you, honey.
Okay, so if I can reel in my chat a little bit here. Ghost Tactical's topic tonight: how to be pro-gun in the anti-gun world and 2A Capitol rallies. That's on Tactical Tuesday tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern.
Here, let me intro that for you.
How to be pro-gun in the anti-gun world. I wonder what it would be like. That was your cue for the doodle 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 doodle.
Oh, that was just the beginning of this Frosted Flakes commercial. A secret sugar frosting.
Oh, really? What's so secret about it?
What it's made of? It's a secret. We're not telling you.
The secret is more sugar.
New formula, now with even more sugar.
Fortified with vitamins because it doesn't have any nutritional value. Which is
that's like that whole, whenever they would show like the really sugary cereals, they're like, part of this balanced breakfast.
Yeah.
If you took the cereal out of it, it would still be a good balanced breakfast.
Right. And that's why you have to fortify it, because the cereal has almost no nutritional value at all. It's filler. Want some cellulose flavored sugar? Or sugar flavored cellulose or something like that?
Yep, commercials were weird back in the day.
Well, at least there were actually men and women, i.e. a mom and a dad in the commercial, unlike today where it's the woman the dad has never seen or heard from, so you assume that he's either a vacant dad or he's living somewhere else.
I don't know about that. I've seen plenty of families on commercials. Just because it's not 100% of them, like...
What the hell is this? This is like a foreign language. Okay, so this is for some kind of margarine I never heard of.
It's the perfect combination for perfect baking.
Okay, that's the end of the other one.
New Good Luck Margarine gives you both preferred unsaturates and preferred flavors. Preferred unsaturates for those concerned about the family diet, plus delicious flavor your whole family will prefer. Preferred unsaturates and preferred flavors. New Good Luck Margarine gives you both at no extra cost.
What the fuck is a preferred unsaturate?
I don't know, but you get some extra with no cost.
And it's good for a family diet. The fuck is a family diet?
That means the daughter that's watching your weight and the son that's lifting weights. Good for your whole herd of people. Except Dad, because he's a picky fucker.
Well, quit making them crappy coffee. Better than those sluts at the office.
Oh. Back when coffee making was part of the application process.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of coffee, so, you know, it's not a prerequisite.
Well, Joe, how did she make that cup of coffee? Well, let me tell you, she stirs a pretty mean pot. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Say no more.
Have a sip of something. A sip of Pepsi. It's refreshing.
Have a sip
What
of Mountain Dew.
comes from the land of sky blue waters?
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
What comes from the land of ice and snow?
I don't
With
know.
the midnight sun and the hot springs glow? Is that the word? Or hot springs flow. That would make more sense.
Coors.
I better not get striked for this.
Did they say Jesus?
No, hams.
Oh,
You know, hams, Jesus, they all sound the same.
it's the quality of the recording that throws my ability to track it properly.
God damn it.
Told you, take a sip of refreshing Pepsi.
I already took a sip of refreshing Pepsi product. It didn't work.
That's not possible. Nothing fails from Pepsi products. Let alone the big MD.
So, guns are fun. You guys like guns?
Can't stand them.
Oh. Bummer.
Responsible for all this scary stuff in life. If we just made everything illegal, everything would be just fine.
This is the craziest pickle commercial I've ever seen in my life.
A sentence I never thought I'd hear somebody say.
Apparently, the commercials channel just got a new subscriber.
It's just a series of movies, I think.
And so that's just on Amazon?
Yeah, I don't know what I was watching. It recommended it to me after. And now it's this disgusting, gross Hellman's commercial with all the white people food that's disgusting. If you want all your food to be white, then use this stuff. Make all your food some version of white.
Because white is right. White is good. White is tasty, as it should.
Interesting to see. I have 8 people watching this video, and Joe Rogan has 31,000 watching his. What does he have that I don't have?
Joe Rogan?
Oh. I guess that makes sense.
Joe Rogan. Thin and on top? Well, just try to rub a little of this on. You'll be growing hair on top of your head and shaving your palms in minutes.
All right, that was worse than looking at Facebook. I had to turn it off. Even for life, 2A Summers. Real username, you think?
Huh?
I don't know. Somebody just signed on. For some reason, it's showing everybody who signs on. Or is it just showing that to me? On the main page of the channel.
Oh, I don't know. I'm in the Hangout tab.
I do not have a hand available to switch.
Yeah, I don't see any like announcement about people signing on.
Okay. It might just because I'm an admin, probably.
GWebs has commented on your post. Oh, what do you say? Oops. Well, that took me to GWeb's page, not to his comment.
You fell for the trap. It's a trap!
Well, that's interesting. Oh, his comment from an hour ago is, "This is real gun talk. Join in." I guess that was before we started talking about commercials. That's okay. I wonder why I posted a picture of my buddy's Marlin 22 that like exploded when he took the stock apart.
So you could show other people that weren't there what it looked like when you try to explain the story?
Yeah, maybe. I just don't remember doing that ever. Obviously, I did, but or actually, I might have posted it like on the main thing or something. Was like, "Hey, can someone help me out? Do you know how this goes back together?" I mean, I Googled it and YouTubed it and figured it out. But yeah, he's got a Marlin 22, a semi-auto, and he was like, taking the action out of the receiver, like clean it up and whatever, and like the side plate just went like shooting out, and all these springs went everywhere because like he took it apart when it was still under spring tension. You're supposed to like you pull this thing back and then you stick like a paper clip through like a little hole. So you stick that through there, and then that like keeps the spring like completely depressed. So when you take the side plate off and stuff, everything stays where it's supposed to be, and then you can take the different pieces out. But he didn't do that, so it was just under pressure. And
was
it was
the
able
tube
to
fed
move
model or
freely.
the magazine?
What's that?
Was this the tube fed or the magazine model?
It's a tube fed.
Okay. Because I have a magazine. I was just trying to imagine what you're talking about in your head. In my head.
Can you see the computer? I can screen share it.
Yes.
Okay. Hang on a second. So he sent me this picture and said, "Help!" Like that's all the text message was.
Yeah, because those two plates that you see that are apart are actually pressed together. You're never supposed to separate those two plates.
Well, you can. What happened? There's 4 posts. There's like one here, I think a couple here, and one up here, or whatever. And the posts stick through on this side, and then there's some E-clips that hold it in place.
That you're not supposed to remove. Yep.
Those E-clips were missing. Now he didn't know. This is like a hand-me-down gun. So this is the first time he ever took it apart. And when it's inside the receiver, there's like a big screw that goes up front that goes through here and through this part, and one that goes through back here and goes through down here. And so the screws that hold this, like this whole piece into the stock, or into the receiver, it held the plates together. But you take those out like from the outside of the receiver, and then this part's supposed to slide down and it's supposed to stay together. But the E-clips were missing, and I think it's like this piece here. It's like a plunger with a spring on it, and what you're supposed to do is like push it down, and then there's like there's a hole right here, and you stick a paper clip through it, so it traps it between like the side plate, and then it keeps this part all pushed down. But these are some of the other pieces that went like flying across the room, and I'll give him credit. He found every single piece. So that was good.
That looks almost identical to the action in my Model 60, which uses the magazine instead of the tube, especially that plastic part and those 2 frame pieces, the way they've brought together. Mine, I purchased new. But in there, it does tell you, of course, I understand he got his used, but you're not supposed to break it down to that level.
Right. He was not planning on breaking it down to this level. He just wanted to take this whole piece out because that's how you get like up into the other parts.
Yeah, well, if it was already missing parts, clearly he didn't get the entire rifle.
Right.
Previous owner barely got it back together and said, "I better get rid of this before I don't want to shoot it."
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was from his stepdad, so it's not like malicious intent. Like I better get rid of this piece of crap. It was just like he borrowed it one time and then was like, "Hey, you mind if I don't give this back to you?" He's like, "Nah, you can keep it." So I guess it's not like technically his, because it's kind of like, if you ever want it back, just like tell me, but it's just gonna stay at my house and I'm gonna use it. Because I mean, his stepdad hadn't shot it in forever. Probably forgot that the thing was messed up.
Without the E-clips, the only thing actually holding that together is the pins that go from one plate to the other, and then the friction of sitting in the frame of being nestled in.
Well, like I said, once you get it nestled up in there, there are 2 screws, one in the front and the back, that go like all the way through the receiver and go through both those plates. So that holds it together as well.
Yeah, but that's just a friction thing. That's not like an E-clip where it's actually you would have to break metal to actually open it up. Versus a bolt that has threads. as an example.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So that you got the 4 pins with E-clips, and then you also have 2 bolts that go through it that also keep it in
there's
place.
guide pins, yeah.
But you take those 2 screws out before you take that, whatever you want to call it, trigger action assembly piece or whatever. Before you can take that out of the receiver, you have to take the 2 screws out. But again, then the E-clip should hold it in place, which those were missing. So anyways, we were able to get it all back together, and basically it was right before we went up north shooting, and we didn't have any clips for it because I didn't know that, they were missing. So I didn't know how the thing went together at first. And so once I figured that out, I was like, well, we can go run to the hardware store or something. But God, I think it was like the day before or something. Anyways, we got it pushed back together, and basically with 2 of us, I was able to like hold the 2 plates together and kind of start sliding up into the receiver, and he was able to get those screws in. And we took it up north like that, and it shot fine. Once we got it put back together, it just took a little bit of, because you're holding it together and like fighting that spring all at the same time, trying to get it back up in there.
Once it's in the body will hold the assembly together, even without the E-clips.
Exactly. So that's what we did at first, just to get it to, just so we could use it that weekend. And like I said, it worked fine. And then when we came home, we just ran up to the hardware store and grabbed some clips. And then kind of same thing when we took it apart, knowing that it's going to fly apart. We were just real careful and like kind of half slid it out so that, like you said, the receiver was still keeping like the front of it together, and I was pinching the back part together. And then we put like the back clips on, then slid the front part down and put the clips in on there. So we were able to put the clips on without having to reassemble the thing, because it is like a little jigsaw puzzle getting all those the trigger and the striker and all that stuff all. There's a last round hold open that is up in there too.
Yep. Yeah, that Marlin 22 I got, it's a very accurate 22.
Yep. I liked it. We spent a lot of time shooting those 22s when we were up there. Because he had like one of those like bucket of bullets from before the craziness. So like, he only paid a couple cents per round.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, geez, you got freaking, I forget however many it was, like 2,000 rounds or something. It's a weird number, though. It's not an even number.
Right. Those Remington golden buckets, plastic bucket things.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Somebody else may sell those plastic bucket things as well with 22 in them.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what the brand was. I just know there was like a few thousand rounds in it, so. Anyways, yeah, it was fun.
Fun like Pepsi?
Oh no, you know what, G-Webs? Now that I've gone back to the front page, I guess it refreshed or whatever, I do see that so and so is joined or has signed up.
Yeah, I did see earlier that it said signed up for an account. I wasn't sure if you meant was not currently online or.
Okay.
Let me.
Trying to think what I want for dinner. Should I be lazy? Or Or should I take some time and get something that actually tastes a little bit better? What do you vote for, Smeg? Should I be lazy or should I go for this something that tastes a little bit better?
Tastes better.
Now, do you usually eat your dinner a little bit later, or did you already eat?
No, I had a late lunch, so I don't know. I might eat dinner later tonight or just have had lunch. But yeah, normally, I don't know. I eat dinner at all sorts of different times.
I have a tendency to eat once I've gone beyond the point of being just slightly hungry to the point to where I'm famished. And then all of a sudden it's like, and that's when I go for the, okay, I need the instant. Where's the milk and cereal? I'm that hungry. I need to eat now because I've waited 2 hours too long.
See, I go from like being kind of hungry to like I'm so hungry I'm not really hungry anymore, and then that's just the end of that. And then I either eat or I don't. Like I never really get like starving. I guess I've been starving a few times, but most of the time it's like, yeah, I guess I'm kind of hungry, and then if I put it off a little bit, then I'm just not hungry anymore.
Well, I guess you're fortunate that way. Is for me, I just get more hungry and then I overeat, and then I said, God, I feel like a fat pig. I wonder why I feel like a fat pig. Maybe because I ate so much, I'm a fat pig. But that's just me.
Yeah, I guess so. There's something I can do here. Okay. Oh, whatever. But anyway, yeah, my one buddy always asking for gun advice or gun help or stuff. And that's cool. I mean, I I don't know tons about guns, but I know like more than he does, so it's nice to be a useful resource.
Well, a lot of times that's all you need is that, either half a step or a step above what you know to get where you need to go.
Right. Well, like that 22, I mean, I know enough about how most guns work that when like I watch a field stripping video or something, it's like just because I didn't know exactly how this one works off the top of my head, like the stuff that the person's doing like makes sense. Especially like handguns and stuff like, field stripping. Most of them are very similar. You either pull back the slide a bit and pop a pin out or turn a thing, then slide it forward. Sometimes you got to pull the trigger, sometimes you don't. The slide comes off, then you just push the spring in, pop that out, pull the barrel out, like you're good to go. Most of them work at some variation of that.
Pretty much.
Although there are, little tips and tricks, like with that Marlin of compressing the like the firing pin or the hammer spring or whatever, like pulling that down and putting the paper clip through it. I never would have thought to do that.
Yeah, well, there's no when I've taken mine apart, I've never had to use a paper clip.
Well, that's for like if you're taking those side plates off,
the frame of the action apart.
Yeah, no, that part's fine. Yeah, you just take those screws out and it slides down.
I mean, otherwise, the only issue can be is if you're not holding on to the blowback bolt that you have to pull against the spring. And if it slips out of your hand, it's going to go shooting across the room, the entire bolt. I wouldn't want to get hit in the face with that. That would leave a mark.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun. Yeah. I guess the people don't want to join the Smeggy Cave. I sent a couple of messages to people with the link. Then they ran away. They signed off.
Well, depending on the time zone, this is what I'll call, there's like a 2.5 hour dinner hour kind of swing, I've noticed.
God, what the hell's wrong? Oh, are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God.
Yes, I was kidding you, Smeggy.
Ridiculous. 37 seconds into the game, Boston scores a goal. God damn it. Didn't get tipped or anything. Just, man. It was a well-placed shot. I'll give him credit for that. It just went, like, just barely into the corner. I was just about to comment how, like, bright the ice is, and I'm like, I don't think they're at home. They must be away. And now I see it that, yes, they are definitely in Boston. But, like, the camera is, like, all washed out. Like, the ice is all weird looking. Oh, my God. They just scored again.
Uh-oh. Not a good sign, Smeg.
Well, we got our backup goalie in there, but Jesus, two goals and 2 shots. Oof. Ay, ay, ay.
There we go. No more chat rooms.
What?
There's still private messaging and instant messaging, but no chat rooms.
Oh, I don't like that.
That's all right. It's not going to be forever.
What the hell was that?
My text message.
Oh.
I had to text my mom and say, "Are you watching this?"
Ooh. Is there anybody watching this chat?
9 people.
So if they were on gun channels, they could instant message you or PM you or whatever it's called, and then you could send them a link, or me or Dan, right? They're just refusing to do that.
If they were on.
Yeah, I know they're only like a couple minutes into the game anyways. But she responded back. She's like, "Yeah, I'm watching. Are you up to like real time?" Which I normally start watching the game like an hour late so I can fast forward all this stuff. But tonight I started at like, I don't know, whatever. Like 20 minutes late, but that's really only like 5 minutes of gameplay because it starts. Anyways, but I was like, no, I'm not live, but I got 1 minute into the game. So like I do know it's 2-0.
Well, you're lucky that she's aware of your habits, that she just didn't say, well, the score is now.
Oh yeah, we talk a lot during the game, and so that's normally what she starts with. Like, are you watching? And then I'll say, yeah, I'm in the middle of the second period. Like, I'll let her know what part of the game, so then we can talk about anything before that. But she said if anything else was on TV, she would have changed it after the first minute. Oh man. And then we scored. Wow. So maybe the first minute is for them to score 2, and then this minute's for us to score 2. I think I scared G-Wubs away. He hates the sports talk.
You're right. I didn't notice it till you mentioned it, that he was gone again. He just snuck right out. I'm going to go look at the freezer and see what I got. I'll be back.
Okay. I guess I'll just narrate the game to everyone listening. So, yep. Still playing hockey. He skates with it. Skates with it. Passes the puck. Skates with it some more. Other guy's got it. He passed it to someone else. Or isn't that such good play-by-play? I'm going to stop now. I don't want to scare away all the other people like I scared away G-Wubs. It sucks with the private message thing. I'm not sure if there's like a way to really see the list of everybody. Sometimes it cuts off people's names if there's enough people joined. I don't know, whatever. Guns are cool. I'd like to keep my guns, and I'd like to buy new ones in the future. And to all those people out there that are like, well, we're not going to take your guns. Your stuff will be grandfathered in. I always like to say, yeah, but you are confiscating guns from future me because those are the guns I haven't bought yet. What if there's a bunch of 20-year-olds out there right now who don't have an AR? You're basically confiscating ARs from them just because they haven't bought one yet. If you say, well, you can keep the one you have, you just can't buy it or sell it to anyone. Well, that's still restricting a bunch of the rights. And I'm hoping most of these bills don't go anywhere, but we can't rely on that. So once again, I'll take a call out and say, hey, everybody, rate your peoples, call them, let them know you don't want them to pass anti-gun stuff. In fact, I saw there was one bill out there. It's like the, I don't know, it's something about the like legal adult bill or something. I don't know, whatever it is. But basically, they're going the opposite way with the whole between 21 and 18, and it's trying to allow handgun sales to 18-year-olds. Because I mean, especially the way they phrase it, they're like, it's allowing adults under the age of 21, which is basically, 18, 19, 20, but still, they're technically adults. Like, legally speaking, they're adults. They should have all their rights. And it's not like, oh, when you're 18, you're allowed to vote, but you can only vote for, like, I don't know, in half the elections. And then when you turn 21, you can vote for the president or something. You know what I mean? They don't have that kind of stuff. Either you're allowed to vote or you aren't. Oh, you're 18. You can, buy lotto tickets, but only scratch offs. And when you turn 21, you can buy the Powerball. Like, no, either you can buy lotto tickets or you can't. Or, 18, you can buy adult material, but only like, half of it or something. You know what I mean? They don't do that for the other stuff. If you're an adult, you can buy it. And if you're not an adult, you can't. So I don't understand why guns are drawn down the middle where apparently handguns are so evil, but, rifles aren't as evil, which, I mean, I guess if you look at, crime rates and stuff, I mean, it is true that handguns are used more than rifles by quite a bit more. But either way, I still think there are plenty of responsible 18 and 19-year-olds that, there's no reason they shouldn't buy a handgun. I mean, I know plenty of people that their family are gun people. So, their family has handguns and they have access to the safe or whatever. So it's like, maybe they buy rifles for themselves and then their family member bought a handgun, and that's perfectly fine. That's allowed to be done. But my point being is, like, there are already plenty of 18, 19, and 20-year-olds who have access to handguns that don't do crime and don't do bad stuff. So, anyways, I support them changing the age for buying a handgun to 18. Because otherwise it does just stigmatize, like, oh, well, kids are dumb, so you have to be 21 before, like, you're safe enough to have a gun or something. And I don't like that mentality because I think, kids might be naive on some stuff and some of them might not think rationally, but again, those types of people, they're either already doing bad stuff or, they think irrationally, but they're still not murderers. Yeah, all right. Tied it up. It's a high-scoring first period. Oh, you are way out of net. What the hell are you doing? Whew. That was a amateur move. I mean, I know our backup goalie's young, but he, like, chased the guy, like, around the net, and the guy was trying to do, like, a wraparound. And our goalie's behind the net. He's just lucky that when the guy passed it out front, we were able to tie him up a little bit. You can't go chasing the puck like that. Yeah, you can try and poke check a little bit, but once he gets, like, around behind the back of the net, don't get out of net to go chase him. Oh, centered it. Oof. Man, this is an exciting game. And it's on NBC Sports, so anyone in the country could be watching it. It's like it's not like it's just the local Detroit broadcast. I suggest watching it on mute, though, because the NBC announcers totally suck. I can't stand the sound of their voice. When I watch most games on mute anyways when I'm in these chats, because that way I can talk to you peoples. But either way, definitely when it's on NBC. Even if I'm not in a chat, I'll watch NBC muted and then, like, watch YouTube or something. So, what else was I saying? I don't know. Guns are cool. I like guns. Any questions from the chat room, people? Well, this will be like a, Yankee chat. You guys type questions and I'll answer them. And I guarantee I'll be right on every single answer because I know everything. Super humble too. Oh man, I think I'm going to be up almost live after this commercial break. What team is Smeggy rooting for? First off, you already know that answer, Night Strike. Come on, what are you, dumb? Rooting for the Red Wings, you know that. That was one of the weird things when I was down in South Carolina. Like, nobody cared about hockey. I'd go into like a Buffalo Wild Wings or something, be like, hey, do you mind putting the hockey game on? And they're like, the what now with the who's its? And I'm like, yeah, the hockey hosers. Yeah, Scott, I know that the channels aren't working over there. That's why I have the YouTube chat pulled up. So just ask questions on the YouTube side. Oh. It's because hockey isn't really American? Well, is that the bar of like you're only allowed to watch American sports? That seems kind of silly. Especially since you do know the NHL is like mostly in the US. There's what, like 6 Canadian teams or something like that? Like there's not very many Canadian teams, honestly. So it's always hockey has always been like somewhat American. They definitely the market, like they make the most money in like the northern American cities. Like those are the teams that do the best. So yes, Canada likes hockey like way more than the average American, but even, like Vancouver or Calgary, or especially like if a Canadian team's bad, oh man, do their fans turn on them quick. Like they'll still watch them, but they don't go to the games as much. They don't buy the merchandise. Like the team does not make money if their team sucks. But it's all since the NHL, started, there was a lot of American teams. They basically started with the original 6, which was, New York, Detroit, Chicago, Boston. So 4 out of 6 American teams. And then you had Montreal and Toronto. So, like, if you looked at that, if that's all you knew about the sport, you're like, hey, this sport just started and it's New York, Detroit, Chicago, Boston, Montreal, and Toronto. You'd be like, oh, so it's like an American sport that they let a couple Canadians play. So US has always been the bigger market for the NHL. And that's why Detroit was in the Western Conference for so long. It had been in the Western Conference since the beginning because of those teams. You had New York and Boston. Well, that's definitely more east than we are. Detroit and Chicago is in the West. And I don't know about between Montreal and Toronto. I don't know which one's closer. Which one's more west. I don't know where Montreal. I know where Toronto is, and it's not that far of a drive from Detroit. But that might have been in the east, and then Montreal was in the west. I don't know where Montreal is, like on a map. I guess I could look at a map. What the hell's with throwing? First off, it's not a squid; it's an octopus, and that's because back in the day, in order to win the Stanley Cup, you had to win 8 games. So each leg of the octopus, like, stood for a win. And it was actually, the tradition was made up by a dude who owned a fish market who wanted to sell octopi, like straight up. I mean, he even said after a while, it was like, yeah, I had a bunch of these and people weren't buying them. Oh, Montreal's almost directly north of Vermont. All right, so then Montreal was probably in the East, and oh yeah, definitely had to have been in the East. So Montreal, New York, and Boston were the Eastern Conference. Toronto, Detroit, and Chicago were the Western Conference. And then as they added teams, we stayed in the West. Oh my God, another fucking Boston goal. Jesus. It's a high-ass scoring game. So, anyways, we were in the West for a long time. And then it was just recently when they did the reorganization. What was that, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that? We got kicked over to the Eastern Conference. Which, I mean, that makes more sense once you compare, you got Dallas and Colorado and LA and San Jose, Vancouver, Calgary, like those are all really far west. Arizona, now they have Las Vegas. So it makes sense to pop us into the Eastern Conference. And right now there's 31 teams. They're probably going to add a 30. I mean, they just added Vegas, but they're probably going to add another one to make it so it's actually, each division has 8 teams in it. Each conference has 16. And they're looking at Seattle as being the next expansion, and it will probably happen before 2020. In fact, 2020 might be the first year because they want to get them. They want to get them added in before the next collective bargaining agreement, which takes place in 2020, and they don't want to have a lockout because obviously, you don't want to bring a brand new team in. Like all these new fans are like, "Yay, hockey's coming to our city," and there's a lockout. They didn't even play the season. That would really turn off all the new people. So they want to get that done before the collective bargaining agreement, and then they want to hope for not having a lockout or not having a strike. Which basically a lockout is the owner saying, hey, you guys can't play. A strike is the player saying, hey, we're not going to play. So that's the difference. Oh, did he? I don't know, dude. He fell back when he caught that. And that would have counted. Did he cross the line? I guess not. They're not showing a bunch of replays. It looked like he might have from the live version. He went to make the save, but he also like fell backwards. And if the goalie like makes the save inside the net, if the puck crosses the line, like it counts anyways. But I guess he must not have. They didn't even replay it or, stop the game any. All right, I'm just gonna keep talking hockey. I'm not getting any gun questions out there on the YouTube side. So, ask me a gun question. Ask me anything. Any gun question. I will tell you the answer. You can ask me what the average wing speed velocity of a swallow is. If you want. Oh, that's not a gun question. Ooh, did he keep that on side? Yeah, it doesn't matter. They knocked it out again anyways. Man, football's better. Come on. How many guns equal Red Wings tickets? If you're talking like season tickets, what we looked that up because me and my buddy actually were thinking of going in on like a couple of season tickets, and then me and him would like split going to the games. So I could go with like me and my girl, and he could like take his girl to half the games, or the two of us could go, like whatever. God, that's a good question. I'm trying to remember what the hell it was. This is a couple thousand, maybe. I mean, it all depends on where. If you're talking freaking center ice, like first row or whatever, I can't even imagine. It's fucking 10 grand, 12 grand, something crazy. So I'm trying to think. I mean, the single game price is 100 to 200, and there's 40 game or there's 82 games in a season, so 41 of them at home. So you figure a couple hundred per seat, although you do get a discount for, you get a discount for season tickets. It's not like you just pay, face value times 41. see. Yeah, 2 or 3 guns, probably. Like I said, it all depends. So I'm looking it up right now just to get like an idea. That'd be annoying as shit living so close to the stadium you could hear the announcer. Oh my God. Every Sunday I'd be like, shut the hell up. Pricing. That would piss me off, man. So let's see, total price per seat. These are probably the best seats, are 11,000, 10,000. Oh, and then you have the club, which you have to call for details. Those are probably even more expensive. But let's see, 100 level side, shoots twice, rows 2 through 8. Let's see, so like 119 through and 11 through 12. Where are those? Okay, so yeah, like the side into the corners are like 6,500, 6,000 on the opposite side. Let me get up to the 200 level. Yeah, the cheapest 100 level ones are like the really shitty corner ones and like above row 17. And those are still 4,600. Yeah, the upper parts are like 4,000, 3,000. Wonder what the absolute cheapest is. Okay, absolute cheapest. So shittiest tickets are still 2,000 bucks. So there you go, Night Strike. That's how much you need for season tickets. So yeah, a couple guns worth. A couple nice guns worth. They have concerts at the stadium. You get to listen to free concerts. Yeah, if you like the bands, that's cool. So, but anyways, yeah, so we were looking at, and this again too, we were looking at the old stadium. I do think the old stadium was cheaper. The tickets in the new stadium, I think, are more expensive. And this is the first year in the new stadium, so that might be why also. Anyways, G-Web, do you have any gun questions? I asked the audience for gun questions so I could stop talking about hockey, and they all asked me a bunch of hockey questions. I'm trying to do a Yankee. I'll answer every question they ask. It'll be completely right.
No.
You don't want to ask, like, what's the difference between a 686 and a 792? Or something weird? I wonder if the 792 is a gun. Let's find out. I just made that number up. 792 gun. .792 by 57 Mauser. Huh. So I guess it's a caliber. Standard rod caulk gun? That's probably not it. Grease guns? Volkortsen firearm official site. I wonder what that has to do with 792. We'll search. Holy crap, what the heck's this thing? This thing's pretty neat. I'll screen share it. The V2000. All pistol conversions are built on existing MK3 or MK4 pistols. Huh. That's interesting. So that's the like the Ruger Mark 3 or 4, and then they take it and freaking like pimp it out like crazy.
All right, finally figured out there's a adult chat. The adult.
Yeah, here it is in the cave.
Yeah, see, I told you I sent a couple private messages out to people I know who like to chat.
Or adults.
I think I'm a Beretta fan for life now that I shot my Beretta.
Oh, is this turning into a Bretta chat?
I shot the best 2B8 targets I ever shot, 25 yards. I never even shot a 92. I think it's yeah, I'm gonna have to buy like more of them now.
Looks like Phil Kortzen makes a bunch of stuff for like other people's things.
Yeah, that's what they do. 1022 mostly. Other 22s. What do you new to Val Kortzen?
I've heard the name before, but I didn't know exactly what they had. This is what shows up when I type in 792. This was the search results for that. So whether that's like part of the stock number or whatever. Tri-mag? What the heck?
I also got a 30 round mag from the gun shop, Smeggy. How much were they? How much were the 30 round mags I was looking for?
Oh, I don't remember.
They're like expensive, weren't they? Too expensive for me, right? I was.
They were kind of expensive. Yeah, you didn't want to get them.
They had one there for $34.
Where?
My gun shop had a 30 round Beretta mag. They usually don't have like any mag I need.
Well, here's a 30 round 1022 mag. Kinda. You see that? That's interesting. You just, I guess, pop one out and then rotate and stick it back in.
Yeah, that's a California compliant 30 round mag.
$11.
Plus, if you shove that under a 1022, it's like a little kickstand.
Oh yeah, that'd be kind of neat. Let's look at their rifles. Yeah, see, this is what I've seen before. Is like the stuff with the crazy stocks or whatever. I just figured they were like target rifles and stuff. I didn't know they were pretty much just like a redone 1022.
You know, they got like special barrels, bull barrels, and whatnot. So they are kind of
right.
I thought they were.
They just use like the similar action. Holy crap! Look at the Inferno. That's interesting. That is crazy. That's for people who are really target shooting. I like that barrel. Let's go to parts. Oh, they make some stuff for Remingtons.
You can fluff and buff your Walther P22.
They only make one thing for a Smith & Wesson Model 41.
You have one?
No.
Thought maybe you were looking for a part for it.
No, I'm just I invented a made-up question from the audience, and then I was trying to answer it.
Oh. What's
And
Dano doing?
He's getting food or something.
Food is for the weak.
Smith & Wesson M&P 1522. I think wouldn't that work for any like AR 22 variant though? Maybe not. Maybe the extractor or something special.
Oh yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
A little 22 bolt.
Lightweight carbon fiber barrel though. That's kind of neat. There you go, everyone. There's a list or a look at the different firearms these guys offer. Wow. Where's that echo coming from?
Probably Dan.
Dano's muted. It's probably
Yeah,
not
but
him.
he probably knows how to bypass the mute to still echo.
Look at that. Do you have enough rails on this thing? I mean, come on. That's crazy looking.
He holds a ice cream bowl up to the microphone and then mutes, and it becomes an amplifying echo.
Oh, okay. Thing's pretty neat.
We couldn't get a icon for Dano's trading card, so we just used a bowl of ice cream.
Yeah, that works. Well, that was fun. It was fun answering an imaginary question and learning something new. So you said you shot your Beretta there, Moon. How'd you? I mean, you said you liked it, but what'd you like about it? What was so cool about it?
I shot better with it than any other gun I ever shot. Probably. Either had a really good day on the B8 target, or I shoot a Beretta better than a Glock and a CZ.
Wow.
I put that D-spring in last night, so the double action was pretty light. Not pretty light, but about 4 pounds lighter than stock. And the metal trigger, changing that looks pretty easy. I watched a video.
I thought you were gonna wait till you had all the stuff to do everything. You just
Yeah.
It's the metal. I have it.
No link.
I'm confused what just happened, but okay. So you changed out all the parts there, Moon?
Yeah, I just haven't changed the trigger yet. And I haven't put the decocker on. So yeah, I have all the parts. I just changed the hammer spring last night. Separate job from, they're all 3 separate jobs. It wasn't that easy because it's an oversized pin in the frame down there that holds the hammer spring cap lanyard loop thing on there. So I needed my girl to pound the end of the pin I was holding while I was holding the gun down to hold the lanyard loop in to the frame so the holes lined up. Wasn't easy. 2 people can do it.
Interested or not, what the fuck does that mean?
Huh?
It's interesting to hear people describe Dungeon.
Oh, are you watching Ghost as well? I just pulled it up on my phone.
I swear to shit, you can't fucking do anything and it like stops the chat. It's ridiculous.
What you mean? Like people get distracted easily? 'Cause I know that happens to me. I get distracted very easily. Oh yeah, yeah, I saw that. But that's the thing when you're trying to talk and read at the same time. Sometimes, 'cause like I said, I do it too. Is like I'll be in the middle of something, go, oh, someone said whatever, and then it completely throws me off track. That's one of the reasons when I'm doing my legislative update, even though, yeah, I do it live, I don't even open the chat window because I know it's just going to mess me up. So, and just say what I got to say and then end it. So, oh well.
Oh well.
Oh well. Maybe I'll buy a Beretta this year. What do you think, Moon?
Yeah, it's a thing to do.
Well, I was going to buy a lever action.
Yuck.
You don't like lever action?
I do.
But you think I should get a Beretta before that?
Yeah, I don't know. What kind of lever action?
38. Yeah, I'm not sure. I want something that I can still use for like deer hunting. And Michigan's got the weird, like, half of the state is straight walled cartridge only.
Yeah.
So I mean, now normally where I go hunting, I'm up north. I'm in the rifle zone. So I mean, I use a 30-06, works fine. But I was just thinking if I ever get the opportunity to hunt like out west or like in the southern part of the state.
So the 357 count as a straight walled cartridge?
I think it does. I'm trying to remember now though, because I thought maybe I was talking about this before and someone had mentioned that because it's not just straight walled, it's like straight walled with a minimum length of this and a maximum length of that. Like, and I forget what those numbers are. And I'm trying to remember. They might have told me that 357 doesn't count. It doesn't have the right length.
That's gay.
But
30-30, 30-06. I forget who makes a 308 lever action, but I don't like it. I like pointy bullets in a tube like that.
Right. I've actually seen they make these projectiles that have like a soft polymer tip, and it's supposed to like, it flies like a pointy tip bullet, like
Yeah.
aerodynamic wise and everything, but apparently like the plastic part is squishy enough that it won't set off a primer, which I mean, I don't know how much of a concern that even really is, but it is.
I saw a video where, wasn't it, somebody stuck them in like a plastic clear tube to see if it would like set them off. I forget what they did to see what it would do, but it
Didn't they?
exploded.
Yeah, but didn't they like shoot the back one with a 22 or something, or like a BB gun or something like that?
Yeah, maybe it was a BB gun or a 20.
I thought it was one of those like they basically set the last one off and they just wanted to see if it would be a chain reaction or whatever. I remember that one. Um, but as far as like dropping it, like just the inertial force if they slide around a little bit, I don't know. I mean, again, maybe it's just
I'd
it
rather
makes
get a
people
bolt
feel
gun.
better, but there's a reason when lever actions first came out, like no one went with super pointy bullets, and that kind of became the urban myth or the cliche was don't use pointy bullets. Now, whether because it happened a lot or people just thought it might happen, and it's hard to tell.
I'd rather get a bolt action 308 anyway.
Yeah, and I don't really want a 30-30 because my dad has a 30-30 lever action, so it's like if I want to shoot that, I can pretty much shoot it whenever I want.
I don't know all those other crazy lever action calibers. 4570 or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean 44 mag, 41 mag,
A 9 milli,
70.
9 miller bore.
I don't think 9 mil. I think's too short.
They need to make a 9 mil lever action. 9 mil.
Well, that would just kind of be like a 38 special.
No.
9 mil size, but longer case.
Cheaper ammo.
Or you mean a lever action that's actually just regular 9 mil?
They don't really need to make it.
That's an answer to a question nobody asked.
Yeah.
But if they did, you wouldn't be able to hunt with it because you can't hunt with 9 mil.
I would rally for it. Like I would campaign for them to make it,
but not buy it.
Buy one.
Yeah, isn't it funny how like when companies are like, hey, do you think we should do this? And everyone's like, hell yeah, that's awesome. Then they actually spend the time and money and the resource and they do it, and then like they sell 2 of them. It's like, what the hell happened? We had thousands of Facebook likes. Yeah, but only one person actually wanted to buy it.
Like if I had infinite money, maybe I'd pick one up. But that's never going to happen. But I won't let them know that.
What about a 10 mil lever action? That'd be pretty neat.
I guess.
I'm really digging 10 mil in rifle sized guns.
Probably wouldn't be long enough for hunting.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it is or not. Like I said, I'm not familiar enough with the numbers to know.
Oh, shit.
Nice dive, you pansy.
I don't know. I would like, when I think of lever action, I think I'd have to get a 357 and then a revolver to go with it. But then,
That was what I was leaning towards.
Or like a woodsman. So I'm not going to buy any of that. I'm going to stick to my 9 mil. Maybe a 45. Actually, only need one. Definitely get a 1911 next year. If I'm like sick of Berettas.
Mm.
I got like all the guns I need, so I try to get like the iconic ones.
You mean like all the cliche guns?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely missing a 1911.
Not to pull a Clay on you, but you have any revolvers?
No.
Because you need to get like a Smith and Wesson revolver or something.
Well, I
If
figure
that's what you're trying to do, of getting all like the.
I'm an heir to revolvers, so
Mm.
I need a Walther PPK eventually, but they're not that exciting.
Well, they are if you like dressing up in tuxes and carrying them.
Nah, I don't want one for James Bond.
God damn it.
Uses one in The Departed. It's stainless with black grips. I'd rather have that one.
Oh, okay. Because that's what everyone thinks of when they hear Walther PPK. They're like, oh, yeah, of course. That one scene in The Departed.
Well, I gotta be a hipster. Like, that's not why I have it. 00 who?
00 sucks.
DiCaprio and 2 O's.
Double O Caprio.
He'll probably play James Bond soon.
Well, that's no good. If he does that, then James Bond's going to die. Every DiCaprio movie I've ever seen, he's died in it. I'm not saying he dies in all of his movies, but all of the ones I've ever seen with him in it, he ends up dying.
Yeah, he dies a lot.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, people give him shit or whatever, especially back in like the Titanic days, right? Like all the girls loved him and all the guys were like, "Yeah, he's dumb." It's like cool to hate him. But there's something about Blood Diamond. Holy crap, I really like that movie. Like it messes with my head, but I really like it.
Did you ever see The Beach?
No.
You gotta watch The Beach. It was like before Blood Diamond. I don't know. He was in a few movies. I didn't like Romeo and Juliet or Titanic.
Right, those were like chick flick ones.
He was in.
And I'm of the age that when those came out, like my sister was a teenager or whatever, so of course she loved them. And I just remember like, shit, man, she'd watch Titanic like once a day. And we only had like the one TV in the living room with the VCR and all that. So it'd be like, get home from school and she came home before me. So she was already watching it. So it's like, well, there goes, an hour and a half I got to go kill before I can go watch TV.
Why couldn't Rose just move her fat ass over?
Yeah, exactly. There is plenty of room on that freaking dresser thing.
Yeah, like he could have laid on top of her. Shit.
Yep.
What are you talking about?
Titanic.
Oh,
I swear we were talking about guns a minute ago.
I've never seen that movie. Is it worth watching? Seems like a real movie.
It's worth watching once.
Yeah. You could probably skip it.
I figure I've gone this long, and I know he says something like, I'm the world, or we are the world.
Oh yeah,
King of the world.
on top of the world, ma. No, that's different. It's Jimmy Cagney. Yeah, you can probably skip it.
And I mean, spoiler alert, it's you know what happens at the end.
And it goes under.
I mean, I didn't want to ruin it, but yeah, the thing kind of sinks.
No, they fix it and everybody lives.
You know what? Because
Changed history.
in the movie that I don't know why I remember this. Probably just because like it was so funny when my neighbor said this, but like right when they're coming up near the iceberg, I guess like the main people are like kissing or something, and the dude who's supposed to like be on watch is like looking at them, and then like he looks back and is like, oh shit, there's an iceberg. And I remember my neighbor was saying like, can you just believe like if it weren't for them kissing, the Titanic never would have sank. And I'm like, I don't think that part of it is necessarily historically accurate. Like my neighbor legitimately thought like that happened, and
Maybe if
so
that guy
it
was
all
doing
because
his
of
job, it wouldn't have sank.
what?
Maybe if that guy, instead of fucking creeping on people that are kissing, was doing his job, it wouldn't have sank. Blame it on Rose and what's his face?
Well, yeah, okay, maybe they even phrased it like, yeah, if he wasn't watching them at that time, it wouldn't have sank. But the idea being is that he thought that like that scene definitely happened. I'm like, I don't think there's any evidence that that actually happened. It might have, but I don't think there's anything to point that it did.
Yeah, he's good in blood.
Like, I doubt they found some journal from the Watchmen saying like, oh crap, we're sinking now. If only I wouldn't have been watching those people kissing.
Like, sorry, I was being a pervert.
And so I would go more with if they didn't ignore the the warning that came in earlier. Wasn't it the radio dude was sleeping, or just the captain ignored it when he was told about it? I forget.
Oh, he's probably drinking.
But I remember that part of the story. Like there was a warning that came in. They should have slowed down, and they didn't for whatever reason.
It's a false flag. The Departed is good. The Django, he's good in that. I don't know what else.
So what other straight weld calibers are there?
I don't know.
There's got to be a bunch of like Wildcat stuff from back in the day or something. Actually, I like hearing about like Wildcat stuff, especially the stuff that like catches on versus the stuff that doesn't.
Like
I was reading a bunch of old magazines, and well, they weren't like super old; they're like from the 2000s or whatever. But there was like a whole column just about like, or a whole article about like Wildcat cartridge. So once a month they talk about like a different thing and who was developing it and why they were developing it. And it's just kind of interesting to be like, yeah, they liked the weight of this thing, but they wanted more velocity, or they actually wanted it a little bit slower because they didn't need that much power to, hunt goats or whatever. And it's just interesting, the different things. It seems like one of those, like, if a big company decides to, okay, we'll go ahead and chamber one of our rifles in it or something, like that one tends to catch on, and then other times it's, yeah, Remington made that for a little bit and no one bought it. So because of that, like ammo manufacturers stopped making it. So then other companies stopped making it because they're like, yeah, what the hell? There's not even any ammo for it. And I mean, that's still happening today. You got the 224 Valkyrie, which is,
Excuse
whatever.
Me, sorry.
A tweak of something that already exists, but it seems like there's a handful of manufacturers behind it making guns chambered in it, and there's a handful of ammo companies making it. So maybe it will catch on.
if they switch it to like where it's 5.56 price, then I'll buy a rifle. And it's like all
Well,
over
that's
the
all
place.
about demand, right? I mean, if they got to
Like if
sell
the
it at a
military
point, at a
switch to
price
it,
that makes it worth their while to even make it. But if it catches on, the price will come down.
yeah. Well, if like I'm saying some like the military would have to switch to it, but that probably not gonna happen.
Yeah, I
They
doubt
just
it. I
switch
mean,
to
the
the
military is all about keeping everything
they have like an
as same as
M855
possible.
Part
So,
2.
yeah. So that way people can just toss ammo to each other. Doesn't matter which gun they have.
Yeah, I don't want them using them both at the same time.
I mean, does it have an advantage at shorter ranges that it would be better than a 223? Because the
Probably
whole
not.
thing, it goes faster, right? So it's supposed to be like more accurate further out. That's the point of it.
Yeah.
But
So
if it has the same performance or better, like up close as well, then yeah, they could just switch over all their stuff to that. Then when they make a designated marksman rifle, it'd be more accurate. Because the snipers are still going to use like bigger stuff anyways.
there's still 30 of those in a regular mag, right? Or are they longer?
I'm not sure.
They got to be in a regular mag. I've never seen a different mag for them.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because they are it's the same mag. I shot it at SHOT Show. The military should switch over to that Franklin Armory lawn dart.
Yeah. Put little grenades on the end of it.
Yeah, I mean that's what it looks like. It looks like a grenade, the ones that slip over the end of an AK.
Yeah.
And you shoot blanks.
Fucking goofy thing. What did I see at the gun shop today?
I don't know.
Someone bought one of the Wilson Combats. There was one left that was $1,113. I don't know. It was like the tackle.
Oh man, I would have bought it for 1,100, but that extra $13, like that's kind of
That's
no
why
good.
I passed.
That's it. No, I hear good things about Wilson Combat. I've never shot one. Don't own one, but I've heard good things.
I watched a video of some guy changing a regular Beretta frame into a Vertec frame, which is basically flattening the hump out on the back and making it like a 1911 back. And I don't know, it's pretty good. He was definitely professional, but he did it with a file. He just filed it down. It's crazy. And then he was like showing you how to do the radius in the back. You do like an octagonal shape, and then you just keep dividing those whatever where they meet the points, and eventually it becomes perfectly radiused. I would never do it.
Oh, that's for the tinkerer who likes messing with their stuff.
Yeah. You just buy a crappy Beretta frame, like used or something on Gunbroker. Fuck around, you can try it. He's got another video where he checkers it, and then I only watched the third video where he gets it back from the guy that finished it or painted it, and it looked fucking perfect.
Hmm.
It's all hand done, but it looked like a machine did it. But
Well,
the
it's 'cause he,
second
like,
part is him checkering it, so I don't know how he did that, but I don't know. Must be good at that too.
Well, yeah, he kind of just like snuck up on it, probably, you know, like just do a little bit more.
He was the first videos in like time lapse kind of like where he's actually just fast forwarding it and leaving some of the filing sound in on low, so it's not really loud. But it's crazy to watch it. Yeah.
Boston guy didn't even get a punch in. Damn it, I hate when this kind of stuff happens. Oh man. How do we say hello, Moon?
I don't know
Oh, you're the one with the background noise.
what my kid's talking about.
Probably being weird.
Yeah,
Kids do that.
that's all they do. Can you hear that music?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
I might get you copyright. It's Bob Seger.
I don't think it's loud enough for that to count. We'll see, though. We'll see what happens.
Bob Seger's like, I know they're trying to bootleg it.
Yes, that's our trick, is we talk about guns for 3.5 hours just so that we can have very faint background music, like,
Yeah.
for 30 seconds. That's how I enjoy listening to all my music. In the background of podcasts.
Working on a night move. That's what he's singing.
Working on a moon food. Fast forward commercials. Fast forward commercials. Do 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 do.
That's what's good about Grand Theft Auto, the soundtracks. Where'd G-Webs go? You get offended?
He went over to Ghost Chat.
Oh. Thought he got offended by Bob Seger.
Oh, no, he left a while before that.
Oh. Oh, it's on the front page. My coffee's still too hot to enjoy.
My teammate left the match. Fucking bastard. It is very hard to win 1 versus 2. Oh, now he came back. Thanks. Really helping out here, jackass. Wait, was that a goal? I think that might have been a goal. Oh, it's very hard to tell. God damn it. I hate when that happens. Is that a goal? Where's the puck? Oh, no, it's not. God damn it. It's hard to tell. No, that was no goal. Be back later. Okay, see ya. Well, I actually think I'm just going to go ahead and shut this one down. I'll listen to Ghost Chat a little bit. And then getting ready for Hit or Miss Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock. And maybe till later tonight, I will start up another Smeggy Cave. So, thanks everyone for listening. I'll see you later.